ReefDudes is sponsored by Brightwell Aquatics and Bulk Reef Supply.
Today we're going to get an update on Dylan's floating reef tank. What's going on, guys? Devin from ReefDudes. I am over here at Dylan's house for an update on his beautiful floating reef tank. How's things going with the tank, Dylan?
It's going pretty good. Everything's looking pretty happy. I just got home, so these guys are hungry. I haven't even fed them today. But it's been quite the journey. There's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of learning that's gone on.
One thing I noticed since last time I was here, you actually changed your lighting. You got AI primes last time.
Yes, that is correct. I did say that I wanted some brighter lights. So with the pandemic and everything, it was actually quite hard to actually get these lights. They were running out of stock and all that. So I have two up here for now. These are the old brackets that I had for the AI primes. I've been so busy with other stuff that I haven't gotten around to it. But I actually have three lights. There's two here, threes. Like, these are fine with the two, but I'd rather have more and then dim them down. If you run these at like 100%, you can hear the fan and it's a little bit annoying. So I'd rather have three and spread them out a little bit more equal.
Quick side pro tip, in the app, you can set a max fan speed to make it quieter.
Which I did.
Okay.
These are actually running at 80% right now. So I want to pretty much have these maybe slightly a little bit higher and come out forward a little bit more and just have it a little bit more equal. So because my wires come up through the wall, I'll probably have to put some kind of a board here, and I'll probably end up cutting the drywall and redoing that. But whatever, it is what it is, and then I think it'll turn out better in the long run.
So fish-wise, you also got a few new things in the tank.
The butterfly is being a little shy right now, but he's definitely one of my favorite. When I got him, I was worried about him. He had ick, but he wasn't eating for like maybe 4 or 5 days, and I got probably the last bag of frozen clams in town, and that was literally the only thing that he ate.
Is he eating anything else now, or is it mainly just the clams?
He eats mysis. I'm not sure if he eats the brine shrimp, but he's doing really good. He's happy.
Nice.
The newest addition is this yellow tang right here. My flame angelfish and my butterfly were being douchebags to him and hitting him. They're bullying him, but now they're all buddies. So
we got over the initial a little bit.
So
I think a little goby in there too. He's new.
Even like my bubble tips, I've never seen them this happy.
Think that's from the new, more intense lighting, or what do you think changed for that?
Well, yes and no. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say that my water quality is probably better now than it was a month or two ago.
Okay.
So the lighting does help, but I think it's more so the water quality. I did have dinos when I first had the tank. I didn't have enough nutrients in the tank, and that's pretty much why I got it, because I had a lot less fish at the time. Now, as I've been kind of going on, things have been a lot better. At one point, I actually was dosing nitrates and phosphates because every single time I tested my water, it would read 0. And so I was dosing nitrates and phosphates to get that up. So it's been a bit of a learning curve. Then I had a bunch of algae. I have bubble algae right now, which I'm slowly getting rid of. I have turf algae. Like, it was crazy. I was spending about 4 hours maintenance on this tank every 2 or 3 days, cleaning it out.
It's a good chunk. Well, I don't see any dinos or turf right now. Bubble algae you don't really notice, but there's the odd little bit in the crack, so it's fairly minor. At least an emerald crab or something maybe will help with that.
Yeah, I was pretty keen on testing the water and everything, but what I have come to terms with now is it's best to actually just spend the time looking at it, making sure everything looks good and is happy, because I did some research and I noticed that when you have algae in your tank, it'll actually hold and suck up nutrients. And so even if you test your water, it can read 0 and will give you a false positive. So I try and keep the tank as clean as I can. I'll suck up the sand and I'll put hydrogen peroxide or whatever, and I'll scrape the back of the glass clean. Like, I know a lot of people just leave the algae on the back, but I don't want any issues. I don't want any. I'd rather, play it safe and all that and have a nice clean back. I'm hoping that it just started right there, but I have some GSP that's growing up the wall in the back.
Yep.
And I hope that'll kind of spread, and it'd be nice to have that GSP all in the back. I think it'd be good for looks and for maintenance.
Yeah, you won't have to worry about cleaning it. Just be all flowy green, which would look pretty cool. I've seen a few tanks where the whole overflow tower was covered, and it looked pretty neat.
So right now in the last few months, I've just been trying to keep everything stable. I don't want to make any big changes. Like, I've been really quite happy with everything I had. It's been difficult getting fish and coral in the last few months because of the pandemic, but I'm happy with everything. Everything is actually getting better and better by day.
So your tank is getting older in age. About how long has it been running now?
Since maybe February?
Yeah. And the tank's what, 95 to 100 gallons, somewhere in that range?
Yeah, I would say it's around 95 or so.
And I know we're going to get asked, so dimension-wise, is it 5 feet long by 18, or what was the dimensions?
Yeah, it's 5 feet long.
Yeah.
I believe it's 20 inches high and 18 depth.
Nice. And it's still on the wall?
Still on the wall.
Excellent.
Hasn't moved.
So how long has it been up for now?
Well, it's been up since January, February.
Yeah, nice. So about 8 months now.
Yeah, it hasn't moved. I do have some plans for it. Like I said, I wanted to kind of like tuck this away and hide it, and I haven't gotten around to that yet. I do have a plant back here. Thing is not dead. I'm bringing it back to life. It's a banana plant.
I see some green. You got hope here.
Yeah, there's some like little baby ones down here that are coming up.
A little greenery to go with the blue of the tank.
Yeah.
Beauty.
It's looking good. I spent a lot of time maintaining this thing. I've lost a bunch of bubble tips. They get chopped up in the power head.
Yeah, so you had one that was floating around your tank and ended up getting sucked into the pump, right?
Yeah, it's down here. It actually survived. It's a little bit small right now. Usually it's bigger than that. The bubble tips are weird. They go through all these like different phases. But at one point I was losing bubble tips like crazy through this power head. So I ended up ordering this 3D printed guard, and I will say that it was worth it. There was a couple times where I found some bubble tips just hanging on for dear life on that thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is. Oh, looks like the shrimp is trying to commit suicide right now.
He's smart enough to swim away. Okay, question. Now you have 2 different sets of clowns in here. And I know sometimes multiple sets of clowns will play nuts, the other times they'll scrap. How have these guys been?
These clowns here, these mocha clowns, they will sometimes kind of bark at these guys and try to nip them. That's just because I think they're bigger.
Yeah.
But other than that, these guys are super friendly.
They look pretty cheerful.
They
Pretty bubbly.
They stay on their sides and whatever. This guy right here, you gave me him. The damsel.
Yeah, loser.
Yeah. But he's been super chill in my tank. I know he was a bit of a...
Yeah, he used to live by my acans, and he'd nip me or headbutt me every time I went around there.
No, he's super happy in this tank. Everything's really, really happy in this tank.
Excellent.
I got a big hermit crab in here somewhere too. Right on top. And I have another bubble tip way in the back there.
You got them everywhere.
Yeah.
Your whole tank's gonna be anemones one day.
Yeah, I even got a green one here. Those 2 big ones split.
That's pretty cool. Got a purple one, got a little green one down there. Beauty. Now, how about the filtration room? Should come take a peek and see what's changed since last time we were here?
There's a lot of stuff going on in there.
All right, so into the Sunframe. So there's a lot more going on since last time I was here.
Yes, and there's been some changes. Just actually yesterday I did some of this. I don't know if you guys know, probably not, but I'm an electrician. And you would think that my cable management would be a lot better.
I would, yes, you're correct.
I'm just getting everything just working, and I'll tidy it up, make it pretty later. But I think it was it yesterday or the day before, I moved some stuff around. I actually had this UV light up here, horizontal, at a slight kind of, there was a slight incline. Anyways, the return pump was plumbed into there. It was return pump, and then there was a check valve. And then off the check valve, it went to my UV light, and then it went into my main display tank.
So what was your reasoning for taking it off your return pump and putting on a separate pump?
I wanted a direct line that went straight from my sump straight to the tank. There was at one point, well, actually I still do it. I feed my my butterfly clams, fresh clams, and sometimes the clams, he'll pull them out of the shell and they'll just float around the tank and they'll go in my overflow. And I didn't want them coming down into my sump and then getting it sucked back up or getting shredded, all these little bits. I didn't want all this debris. At one point it was really bad and it was getting debris everywhere, and I didn't want it to clog up my UV light, and it got my Clarice really bad because I had my Clarice that was plumbed directly off of the line coming from my overflow. So the water would come in and it would just constantly gung up my Clarice.
That was all from the clams, you think?
All from the clams and all that stuff. So I've completely removed that. Right now I just have a filter sock right here, which that's just for now, and I've been running it for the last few months, but that doesn't mean that I'll be running it in the next month or so. I just recently put my Clarice back in here. So how this is running is I have another return pump down here. So it pumps the water out of here into my UV light, out of my UV light, right into my Clarice. And if you guys at home have a Clarice, there's a bunch of grooves in this tube that's on the bottom there. I took like a Dremel and I cut a bunch of the holes bigger because I didn't want any debris, or sometimes there's like some algae in the tank or whatever when you're cleaning and it'll get stuck and it'll build up in those grooves. So I just didn't understand the reasoning behind it with the smaller grooves and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted a nice
open it up a bit.
Exactly. So, and another tip for you guys, when you're running your Clarice, which I'm not doing it right now, but put it on a timer. Don't have it directly plugged in because it'll send an error message. It'll alarm, and if your Clarice doesn't rotate for the motor every so many hours, it'll send it to an alarm. So if you put it on a timer or something like that, you can kind of bypass it.
So that mainly can happen if your bypass door is open, you don't have enough flow.
Exactly, but if your filter, my understanding behind it, I believe is, if your filter sock's not dirty, why would you want this to turn? You want this to turn when it's dirty, not because the computer says you should have to after so many hours, right? Because as the days go by, my water is getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. I have a UV light, I have the Clarice now, I have the skimmer, I have the Refugium light, which I run 24/7 right now, which I might change soon. And I have an ozone generator, which I am running right now as of yesterday. I had this plumbed right into my skimmer, but it was restricting my skimmer when this was not on or something like that. I can't remember, and this was messing up my skimmer, so I might have to drill another hole in here. But anyways, between all that stuff, I don't know, I think that should accommodate my nutrients level with all the fish and the stuff I have and my bio load. So I also have like one of these bio cubes down here, which I just recently put in. I only put that in about a week ago, so I don't know how long it takes for that to get going. So but
are all those pads on top of your skimmer? Is that just for get rid of the smell, or?
Yeah, I got this
for ozone.
I got this for the smell.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it's working or not, but I got this little carbon filter. It's got a little fan in there off Amazon for like $15, and honestly, it's awesome. Like, I love it.
Nice. Got rid of any fishy smell in here?
And just another little tip, which you actually told me yesterday, is that when you're running an ozone generator, even though it's on minimum, put it on a timer, because yesterday it started to get pretty smelly with ozone. I thought we would just run it like all the time, but I guess that's not the case. At first I thought it was a fishy smell, but no, it's ozone. So just run it for what? Two or 3 hours? Or
so ozone has kind of like a lightning staticky smell, and I personally run mine for between 4 and 5 hours a night. I do it from about 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., whatever. Like, time you're typically in bed and not around.
I have an auto water change that's going on. I'm not sure if we talked about it in the last video, but it's this right here. It was a pain in the ass to set up because the instructions are pretty bad. But once it's up and running, it works awesome. I ordered a...
How big or how often of a water change are you doing right now?
I'm doing it every second day about a gallon,
Yep.
maybe slightly more than a gallon.
Nice.
And then it also does my auto top off as well.
Now, your controller, you're basically using all smart plugs for everything, right?
Yeah, I don't need no fancy Apex or anything for what I do.
Yeah.
I spend the money where I need to. So I have these smart receptacles here, which they all work together, and I can control off my phone. I think they're like 20 bucks each or something, and they're awesome. Like, I'll show you something on my phone here. I have this is the app for those smart plugs, and I just programmed like a little schedule here. So I have a button that says feeding time. So as soon as I hit that, it'll turn my skimmer off, and it'll turn off, don't mind the wording on here because I gotta change it, but it turns off my return pump. And so then I also programmed it so like it'll turn it off for about an hour, and then it'll turn my return pump back on, and about 20 minutes after that or so, it'll turn my skimmer back on. Even though I have that check valve in there, there's still water that could rise up from other stuff or whatever. So I don't want the skimmer overflowing and getting all messed up from all that. So that's why I have the skimmer that comes on a little bit after. There's a delay. This UV light and this Claris-C that's running off this other pump here just runs pretty much 24/7 because there's nothing. It's completely separate and independent to everything else.
It's cool that you can do that delay on restart thing with the smart plugs. What brand are they, or what are they?
This one is off Amazon. It's Tekken.
Oh, I got those ones. Okay.
TE.
I have that brand. Tekken. Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Sweet. I didn't know about the delay on thing. That's really handy.
Other than that, everything is on a GFI. I could put my return pumps higher and all that, but I try to keep the noise down. I try to keep my level at a certain point so it's not too high, but it's not too low and it makes noise.
Keeps it quiet.
Yep. Other than that, everything's pretty good. I'm growing some algae in my sump right now, but I need to clean it. The algae's coming from the refugium light that's pretty much on like all the time now, but I need to take a razor blade and clean it. Other than that, everything's working pretty good. I will say that, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I was having a lot of issues with dinos and all that stuff because my water was too clean. But from all this experience that's been going on for the last, 7 or 8 months, as you get more fish and create more nutrients, there's a reason for all this equipment, right? My goal is to do no water changes, or definitely like reduce water changes. If I can accommodate all this stuff, that would be better. I don't want too many fish. I want just the right amount for the right size equipment and everything I have. And I think that's the goal. When I first started my tank, because I only had 2 or 3 fish, and I was running like a bunch of this equipment and all that stuff, my water was way too clean and it was causing problems. So you need to match your equipment to what you have in your tank, and I think that's like the most important thing I've probably learned.
Nice. Well, the tank's looking good, Dylan, so it's coming along nicely. I mean, it's aging, settling in, and looking awesome. Got lots of nice flowy movement in the tank, and yeah, thanks for the update.
Oh, you're welcome.
So if you guys got any questions, as always, let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next update.